Good morning, everyone. So, in the today's recorded lecture, we are going to start our definition of general topology, what is topology, and some of the examples of the topology. Okay. So, before that, one question I have asked you in the last lecture that why for the countable set or countably infinite set, we have to find out the one-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers, or we can say the set should be equivalent to set of natural numbers. Okay, so I hope you have solved this one. Otherwise, we'll take it in the next lecture. Before now, let us start with the definition of a topology. In the initial lectures, I told you what is the meaning of word topology. It is nothing but the topo and logic. Logic means study, topo means a surface. So in general, we are going to study the surfaces, but in this general topology we are not having any surfaces and all. So as I told you, we are having different branches for the topology, that is algebraic topology, differential topology and all. So there you can see what is the study of the surfaces and all, right? Now let us start with the definition of a topology. For that, we will have let x be any non-empty set. Let x be any non-empty set. The family tau, that is, notation for tau is either like this or we can draw like this. Then family tau subset of p of x, which is a subset of p of x. I hope you are knowing what is p of x. It is power set of x. Is said to be topology on x. Is said to be topology on x. Okay, it's said to be a topology on X if it satisfies the following condition. Okay, the definition is very similar to the definition of a group. What is there in the definition of a group? Let X be a non-empty set. Then let G be, instead of X, we have let G be a non-empty set, star be a binary operation. Instead of having a star to be binary operation, here we are going to collect the subset of power set of X which satisfy these following conditions. Okay, for that, first condition is phi should be a member of tau, that is empty set. The second one, X should be a member of tau. The third one is what? A, B. If they are member of tau, then what should be the resultant? Their intersection should also be a member of a tau. The fourth condition is A lambda belongs to tau. If A lambda belongs to tau, then union of lambda belongs to the index set. This triangle is a notation for the index set. Usually you are using for the countable union. Okay, countable, for showing a countability we are going to use this index. Okay, lambda belongs to the index set, or we can, this triangle is called the index set. A lambda belongs to tau. That means it must be closed under finite intersection, and the second property is it must be closed under arbitrary union. Okay. Now, if you come across these things which we have seen in the last lecture, that what are the properties of opens and closed set. So here we have seen phi and x are always open and closed set in your metric space also. And here we have seen the two properties, that is arbitrary union of open set is open, and finite union of a closed set is closed, and a finite intersection of open set is open. Okay, so here if you see these properties, when we have a question by the definition of a topology is like this only, right? Because whatever the things we have written here, we know already that phi and x are always open and closed set. Whether you go anywhere, rather in metric space, if you are in a topology also, we have proved that empty set and the whole universal set, whatever you are considering, either it may be a notation U or the whole real line, whatever you have considered, it is always an open and closed set. So the what is the next one? The first two is not having any problem. The second, third, and fourth will be the things which we have to think. Okay, what is given to us? We have been provided that A and B are the members of two. What is two? Two is any subset of a power set of X. Now one may be knowing what is a power set of X. How you write the power set of X? If suppose X is having only three elements, how you write the power set of X? It is with the help of 2 raised to 3. That is, it will have a total 8 elements, right? So what is two? Two is any subset of X, and from that we are taking two members for the third property. A and B are any two members of the your topology two. What is our aim to prove? Taking any two members of a topology, their intersection also should be in topology itself. Okay. If the intersection is also in the two, then we can say that it is closed under the finite intersection. And if you come across the things which we have seen in the last lecture, the two properties of the open set. What are the two properties? It is closed under arbitrary union and it is closed under the finite intersection. Right? So next, the fourth property is what? If A lambda is a member of two, what is lambda? Lambda belongs to the index set. In the whole topology paper, we are going to use the notation, this triangle or the index set for showing this set to be a countable set. Right? So countable union of these A lambdas must be again a member of two. Right? Now here, if you consider this definition, we know that phi and x are always open and closed. Now what about the things we have seen here? A and B are the members of two, their intersection is also a member of two. This is what the property of an open set. Right? The next one is arbitrary union of an open set is open set. So these are what the properties related to your open set. Okay. So usually in whole paper of general topology, we are going to consider only the open sets. Okay, we have been now in the paper of general topology, a whole concept, a whole idea for general topology is depending upon the open set. And every member of tau is said to be a open set. Why this is so? Because if you see the definition, it is related to open set. Your phi and x are the members of tau, they are always open and closed. And finite intersection of open set is open, and as well as arbitrary union of open set is open set. Right? Now, if you want to verify the definition, you can check it the definition anywhere. Right? Now, here these definitions we have written with the help of a open set. Now, the definition of topology we can write with the help of a closed set. The initial terms are same, but what is the change? The first and second definitions or first and second conditions are also same, because phi and x are always open as well as closed. Now we are writing the definition of a topology with the help of a closed set. So what will be the change? Instead of having the finite intersection, we will have a finite union of a closed set should be a closed set. This is what the property of a closed set. Now next one is if A lambda belongs to 2, lambda belongs to the index set, then what will be the condition for this? The arbitrary intersection of a closed set should be a closed set. So this is what another definition of a topology related to your closed set. What is the change only? The change is only in the third and fourth property. Jithe union and jithe intersection correct. Okay. So now this is what the another definition of a topology, but mostly in the paper of a topology or anywhere if you go for studying the topology, any recommended book, the idea of a topology is related to the open sets. Okay. So that's why what we consider for any type of topology, it is related to open sets itself. Okay. Here the another definition of a topology is defined with the help of a open intervals also. Okay, which we have seen already in the book of Sabita Arora or in the R.R. Goldberg, that arbitrary union of a open set is open and finite intersection of open set is open. So the another definition of your topology is defined with the help of a neighborhood, or we can say it is with the help of a open intervals. Okay. So there are 2 to 3 definitions of topology have been given, but mostly we are going to consider the first definition, which is related to the properties of a open set. Okay, what is given to us? Now the toe is closed under the arbitrary union and it is closed under the finite intersection. What do you mean by closed under arbitrary union? Closed under arbitrary union means what? If you are going to collect a lambdas from your topology, their arbitrary union of a lambda should be again a open set. Okay, if you are having arbitrary union of a open set is open, then we say that it is closed under a arbitrary union. Okay, closed under arbitrary union means what? You are going to collect the members of two as a lambda, and if their arbitrary union is again a open set, then it is called a closed under arbitrary union. And closed under finite intersection means what? If you are going to take any two members of your topology, or rather if you take any 3 member 100 members of topology, then if you take the intersection of those members, the resultant should be again a topology, or it should be an open set. So if it is an open set, then we say that it is a closed under a finite intersection. So for any subset of a power set of X, you have to verify all these 4 properties if you want to say that that is a topology defined on X. Okay. So it's starting with the definition. What is the definition? Let X be a non-empty set. The family tau is a subset of a power set of X. So what is tau? Tau is any subset of a power set of X. Is said to be a topology on X. Okay. Any subset of a power set of X will not be a topology. Okay. Why it is so? Because if you take any subset of a topology, it may contain your whole set X, or it may contain your it may not contain your uh, empty set, right? So firstly we will see what is a power set of X. If you remember this power set of X, how to write down this. Suppose we have the elements, say 1 2 3, only 3 elements with the X. Okay, now how to write down power set of X? We know the formula for that is 2 raised to 3 or 2 raised to n, whatever n is nothing but the number of elements in your X. X is non-empty set, 2 raised to 3. That means how many elements we are going to write down? First we write 5x, or instead of x you can write it as the 1 2 3. Next is singleton elements, we will write 1 2 and 3. Next is 1 2 2 3 and 1 3. I hope now you remember what is power set of X. So how many elements it will have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so total how many elements we will get is 8 elements, in which 3 are singleton sets, 3 are doubleton sets, and here 5 x. Okay, instead of x you can write it as simply 1 2 3 also. Okay, what is power set of X? It is nothing but the collection of all subsets of X. Right, now if suppose instead of X to be a member having only 3 elements, if suppose it has a 100 elements, or we can say cardinality of X is a 100. So how we are going to write down 2 raised to 100? That will be a cardinality of your power set of X. Okay, so here what is tau? Tau is any subset of power set of X. Okay. Now let us select any subset of a power set of X. If I take any subset of power set of X, suppose I will take any subset of power set of X as elements which are a singleton sets. Right. This is also a subset of a power set of X. Okay. I hope you are knowing what is the definition of a subset. So this is what a collection of all the singleton sets, which is a subset of power set of X. Now what is our aim to check whether it is a topology or not? Okay, what is the first condition to be a topology? It must be a subset of power set of X. The next is what? It should satisfy the 4 conditions. What are the 4 conditions? Phi must be a member of tau. Whether phi is a member of this? No. So obviously no need to go anywhere else. Directly you can say it is not a topology. Right? So in this way we can say every subset of a power set of X need not be a topology. So every subset of a power set of X need not be a topology. Okay. Now let me go for the one example of a topological space. If 2 is a topology on X, then X2 is called a topological space. What is a definition of topological space? Whatever the definition of tau we have seen. If tau is topology on X, if tau is a topology on capital X, then X2 is called a topological space. Then X2 is called topological space. Or we can say it is simply a T space. Topological space or T space. Okay, just like a definition of a group, subset G with a star is a binary operation, then we say that it is a group. Here also, if two is just like an star as a binary operation, two is if two is satisfying all the four properties, as two is a subset of power set of X, then if satisfy all those conditions, then we say that X2 is a topological space. Okay, the notation for writing this is what X2, just like our G star is a group. Here X2 2 is a topology, X is any set, any non-empty set if it satisfy all the four conditions. If 2 is a topology, then we say that X2 is a T space. Okay, now let us go for the questions that I have asked you. That what is the thing that why we are going to check for countable set to be having a one-one correspondence with the set of natural numbers, right? For that, let me take a very real life example for that. Suppose we हमारे पास एक बकरी है. Suppose we are having some amount of goats. So and what we have to do for that, जैसे ही एक बकरी अगर बाहर आती है उस एक रूम में से, suppose we are having one room in which we are having some goats. If one of the goat is coming outside, what you have to do, you have to put one marble in your bucket. Okay, we are having one room in which we have a number of goats, right? Shady palan, right? Goats है यहाँ पे, and if one of the goat is coming outside, what you have to do? We have a bucket. Okay, in that bucket you have to put marbles, or you can put stone also. Okay, as one goat is coming outside of the room, you have to put a goat. So you have to now have a things like this. Okay, so what we can do for this, we say this type of a function as a one-one correspondence in our mathematics. Okay, now if suppose you are not knowing how many goats are there in your room, and if suppose they are countable in number, right? If they are countable in number, so what will be the resultant? That means how many marbles or how many stones you are going to collect. Because what do you mean by a countable set? Uh, Before that, what is a finite set? The process of counting is going to stop. What is infinite set? The process of counting is not going to stop anywhere. That means we are not doing what is the last element of your infinite set, or what is the last element of your infinite set. No doubt infinity is not the last element, right? Now, what is your countable set? Here, what is the definition for the countable set? Either it is an empty set, finite set, or countably infinite. What do you mean by countably infinite set? It should have a one-one correspondence with the set of natural number, right? So how you are going to verify one-one correspondence? जैसे जैसे एक बकरी बाहर आती है, आप एक पत्थर उस बकेट में डालते हो, right? So this is what a one-one correspondence. And what is this? How you are going to count this? This is say 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? This is just like your set of natural numbers. So you are going to find out the one-one correspondence with the set of natural number itself, right? So what is an important property of a natural number so that we are taking the one-one correspondence with the natural number itself? Uh, Very important property of a natural number is that if you know n is a one natural number, definitely you can write what is n plus 1. Okay, if I say 100 is a natural number, definitely you can write 101 is again the next natural number. Okay, this you can do for any natural number. If you say n is any natural number, you can write the n plus 1, that is for every element of a natural number you can define a successor, right? But whether this case is true for the real number, right? Whether this case is true for the real number, for that let me check on the real line. Okay, what I have to do, suppose here is a 0. Whether you have written a real line, real number set somewhere. You haven't written a real number set. We have written set of natural numbers in the form of a set. We have written set of integer in the form of a set. Even we have defined what is a set of rational number. It is of the form p by q, where q is not equal to 0, and p and q are the nothing but your integers. Okay. So we haven't defined what is a real line, or we haven't written real line on in the help of, with the help of some set. Why this is so? Because we are not having the exact idea what is the next real number. But in case of a natural number, if you write any natural number, definitely you can define a success about the natural number. If n is any natural number, you can write the next natural number n plus 1. Also, you can write the n minus 1, the previous natural number. Now, in the real line, if suppose you want to write down any number, suppose I have written 0 and 1. After 0, 1 is also a real number. Okay, after 0, 1 is also a real number. So, suppose one may ask you a question that what is, suppose instead of dealing with the natural number, if I deal with the set of integer, so what is a next number after 0? Okay, what is a next integer number after 0? You can say it is 1, and for negative ones you can say it is minus 1. Okay, and if you are dealing with the set of natural number, if suppose I say 1 is a natural number, what is the next natural number after 1 is 2, right? So this I can write. Now, if we are dealing with the set of natural number for set of integer, it is okay. But if suppose we are dealing with the real line, okay. Now, if suppose I am asking what is the next what is the next real number after 0? Okay, one may write. Suppose I have written it is 0.5. So one may say that 0.0001 is also a next real number after 0. But one may say that again 0.000001 is a next real number after 0. But again, one student will write it is 0.000000. We can write it as 2. That is also one real number which is next to your 0. So again, after writing this number also, you can have one more number which is next to 0 and which is earlier than this number. Okay. So here there is no clear idea what is the next real number after 0. And this is true for every case. Okay, if minus 1 is a real number, or if I suppose I will take as say minus 1.5. So this after minus 1.5, what is the next real number? We can say what is the next uh, natural number, what is the next integer after -1, the next integer will be -2. After 0, the next integer is 1. But here, in case of a real line, I cannot define what is the next number after 0. Okay, so that's why we cannot define a successor for the real line. So many of this we can write in between 0 and 1 also. 0 and 1 is that is closed interval 0 1 is equivalent to whole real line. Why this is so? Because in between 0 and 1 there are uncountable number of numbers. Okay, in real line also there is it is uncountable, right? This equivalence is already having a relation, and the proof of this is available in your R.R. Goldberg as well as in maybe in the Savita Arora book. But in the R.R. Goldberg real analysis book, the proof for this one is given how the closed interval 0 1 is equivalent to R, because both are uncountable set, and they have shown how they are equivalent, right? So simply the idea behind the uncountable set is what? We cannot define the successor for that, because if you have any element here, 0 or any real number, you cannot say that this one is a next real number. Okay, so that's why it is an uncountable set. Okay, now whether you know what is a cardinality of a real line, or whether what is a cardinality of a natural number, and what is a cardinality of your integer set, right? So this must be a homework for you people. You have to find out the cardinality of all this, and the next you have to find out the cardinality of a complex numbers also. Okay, for that, I will give you the hint. The notation for cardinality is using as a LF naught, and you have to find out what is the reason. And one question I have given you that in the last lecture, P implies Q. All the theorems which we have proved are of the form if then only. So, what is a contrapositive statement for that? Negation of P implies negation of Q. So, whatever the statements you have written up to now from the BSc and from MSc itself, so total number of theorems now become double, right? Because of the contrapositive property. So here, what we were discussing is the theorem. What is the important theorem which we have seen is countable union of countable set is countable, right? You have to check whether the uncountable union, and you have to check some another condition whether uncountable union of a countable set is countable, right? Next you have to check uncountable union of uncountable set is countable or uncountable. So these are the things you have to check and later on, what is a homework? You have to check the cardinality. What do you mean by cardinality? That is number of elements. Okay, the number of elements in natural number of elements in um, set of integer, number of elements in on the real line, number of elements in the complex number system. Okay, and the hint for this is LF naught is a notation used somewhere, and you have to find out a reason behind that, how to write down 2 raised to LF naught or not. Okay, now we were discussing about how to write down the one-one correspondence. Okay, so we are having the set of codes in the room, and we have written the one-one correspondence with the natural number. That's why the case is there. For every natural number, we can define the successor, right? Now here also you can see for real line. Suppose we have a real line. Here is a set of natural number. Can you define a one-one correspondence in between these two? It is not possible. But you can define the one-one correspondence with the set of integer and set of natural number. This is possible, right? And you can define the one-one correspondence with the rational numbers also. The proof of this is available in your R.R. Goldberg as well as in your Savita Arora book, Real Analysis. Okay, how the one-one correspondence between natural number and set of rational numbers is defined, and that's why we are setting the set of natural numbers, rational numbers are countable in number. Okay, how the real line is defined? It is nothing but the union of rational and irrational. But what is rational number? It is countable in number, but irrational numbers are uncountable in number. So you can see here, one is countable, another is uncountable. So resultant is uncountable. Okay. So that's why we say that R is a uncountable set. Now let us go for one of the definitions. Suppose X be a one. So one example, that is, let X be a non-empty set and we are provided that tau is equals to simply the two elements y and x. What is our aim to prove that tau is a topology on X? Okay, so for that, let us go for the proof or the solution for this is we have simply given that X is any non-empty set. We haven't provided that what is X. Simply we are knowing it is a non-empty set. And what is the next thing provided to us is tau is a topology on X. If tau is a topology on X and X is a non-empty set, tau is provided to having only two elements, phi and x. You have to prove whether it is tau is a topology on X. For that, firstly we have to prove whether phi and x. Phi is already in the tau, so first property is true. Next, whether X is a member of tau, the second property is also true. Now, what are the third one? We have to check whether if A and B are the members of tau, the resultant, that is finite intersection of a members of tau, is must be again a member of tau, that is finite intersection of open set is open set. So in whole paper of a topology, we are dealing with the open set, and every member of tau it is called a open set. And already we know that phi and x are always open and closed set. Here, how many members of tau we are been provided? Only two members, that is phi and x. Phi and x are member of tau, just like our definition. If A and B are the members of here, if A and B are members of tau, you have to prove that their intersection is also a member of tau. The next one is if A lambda is a member of tau, we have to prove arbitrary union of A lambda is again a member of tau. So how many members of tau we have been provided? Only two members. So we have to take the finite intersection. If I take phi intersection x, what is phi intersection x? It is simply phi. Okay. I hope you are knowing what are the properties of intersection sets. So whether phi is a member of tau, we know obviously phi is a member of a tau. So hence it is closed under the finite intersection. Closed under the finite intersection means what? If you take an intersection of these two sets and if the resultant is again a member of tau, then it is called a closed under the finite intersection. Now let us check the fourth property, that is about the union. Now there is no arbitrary union of element because only two elements are there. No need to check the arbitrary union. So simply we are going to check the union of these two elements. Phi and x are member of tau. Let us check what is the union of phi and x. So if you are going to check the union मध्ये काय असतो x whatever may be the largest set, that will be a union. Okay, so x already it is a member of tau. So no need to check whether x is a member of tau. Directly we can say finite intersection is also a member of tau and arbitrary union is also a member of tau. And hence we can say tau is a topology on X and hence X2 is a topological space. So that is what an important property. We are not knowing what is X. X is simply a non-empty set. We are not knowing X, but still we can say X2 is a topological space. Okay, why this is so? Because we have to simply verify the what are the properties of your topological space. And this type of a topological space is given some specific name if a cardinality of your topological space is provided to us. What is cardinality? Simply 2. And this type of topology we called as indiscrete topological space. I hope you are knowing what is indiscrete topological indiscrete metric space, discrete metric space. So here we have indiscrete topological space. What is there for indiscrete topological space? Coordinate of tau should be equal to 2. What are the two elements for this is only phi and x. And obviously they will satisfy all the properties of a topological space. And this is what the smallest topology we can define on any set X. Defined on any set X. Just like a definition of a group. Okay, how many members are needed for forming a group X to be a non-empty set? So simply the zero element is sufficient, or if instead of this one, if you have the two operations, either it is plus and multiplication. So for that, how many members should be there? Multiplicative identity and the zero element. I'm not um, knowing how many of you know or not. In the next lecture, we will discuss this one. How many elements are needed for any group, or how many elements are needed for any set to be a group. Okay, let us discuss this in the next lecture. I will not tell in detail for this one. So here, for being a topological space, we need only two members. Phi and x are sufficient for forming a topology on any set X, and that type of a topology we called as a indiscrete topological space. Okay, now what is given to us? Suppose the coordinate of x is equal to some natural number n, and what is power set of x then? It is 2 raised to n, just like I have written initially. If coordinate of x is this, power set of x will have 2 raised to 100 elements. Right? So what will be 2? The coordinate of 2 will lie in between these two. That is coordinate of 2 will lie in between 2 and 2 raised to n. What is the maximum possibility of 2? The 2 may be equal to power set of x itself, or in another way, 2 must be simply phi and x. Okay, what is phi and x? It is nothing but your indiscrete topological space. I hope you are knowing, you have written, you have studied these things in your metric space, what is discrete and indiscrete metric space. If you haven't done, you have to go back and you have to check, because I can't take this because the syllabus of topology is already very vast. We cannot cover this one. So hence I am not going to have a much more concentration on your basic ideas. You have to clear it. Okay, as you are having, as you are sitting at home, and the time of traveling is, uh, you are having safe one. ओके, आपको अगर कॉलेज चालू होता तो आपको आने जाने में भी टाइम लगता था, मे बी 1 or 2 hours. So that time you have to utilize, and you have to be a knowledgeable person, start doing a study of a basic ideas of a things which we are needed for our topology. Okay, many things are needed: metric space and real analysis, closed set, open set, dense set. What is limit point? What are the other endpoint? What is the difference between these? So, what is topology? The coordinate of topology, or the number of elements of tau, may vary between 2 to 2 raised to n. Okay, the smallest topology we can write with the help of 2, and what is the largest possibility is 2 should be equal to power set of x, and that is called a discrete topological space. Okay, the next is what? Discrete topological space. If tau is equal to power set of x, then it is called a discrete topological space. Now, if suppose cardinality of x is equal to 1, okay, if suppose x is having only single element a, so what will be p of x? It will be having only single element a, right? So indiscrete topological space will be equal to discrete topological space if cardinality of x is equal to 1, right? Because in discrete topological space में क्या elements आएंगे? तो is equals to phi and x. What is your x? Now in this case the cardinality of x is 1, so simply singleton A. What will be power set of x? Power set of x will contain the element singleton A and the empty set. So hence we can say if cardinality of x is equal to 1, then we can have indiscrete topological space is equal to discrete topological space. So these are the what basic ideas about your topology. In the next lecture we will see in detail whatever the basic discussion I hope you have done. Thank you.